We're here today with Jacquelin Smith and really excited and delighted to have the opportunity to talk with you.
Yeah, what a wonderful thing you're doing here. I think it's great. It will wake up a lot of people.
I have been following your work for quite a while, and I've experienced your light language transmissions as well as your presence and your story as very powerful and very activating. I would like to make an announcement ahead of time as to the potency of your transmissions so that people know to sort of be prepared for the information and the activation coming through these kinds of conversations.
It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
I think it's best to start off with some of your story or, how you came to understand this reality of the hybrid program, yourself as a hybrid, and all that that means.
Gosh, where to start? So, when my mother was pregnant with me, she was taken aboard a starship. And the star beings on the starship injected me while I was in the womb with what we could say is a cocktail of 7 different DNA codes from 7 different races. In some specific terms, we can refer to that as to being what makes me a hybrid because I was genetically altered. And not everyone is genetically altered, but in the bigger sense, everyone's a hybrid because we're from the stars and we all have different mixes of races. But this was a very direct, you could say, intervention. Gosh, I started visiting the ship when I was 3 years old and started speaking light language when I was 3 years old as well, which was great fun. And many of these light languages or languages of light are star languages. And so all the languages on Earth are really from the stars. I had the wonderful opportunity when I was visiting the ship to be able to speak all these different star languages with the beings on the ship. Those who I refer to as my star parents are tall white Zeta masters. There were many species on the ship. There were mantis, there were Arcturian, there were Zetas, there were plant-like beings that were from other universes who were on the ship who I used to communicate with telepathically, and they moved around the ship. I attended classes on the ship pretty much every night for many, many years when I was a little girl. And in the classes, we got to learn, there were 8 of us from different countries, and we got to learn how to levitate objects. We got to learn how to create balls of light with our hands and then materialize that into whatever we wanted to on the ship, like an animal or a statue. And we also created sacred geometric codes from that light that we were taught from the star beings how to do that. And it was just great fun because they let us be children. And I used to love to try and run around the ship. And they were very, very patient because these beings that I got to be with love unconditionally. The kind of love that they gave us on the ship really doesn't exist on Earth. If I had my choice, I would have loved to have stayed on the ship. But I chose to come into human form and do my work here on Earth, being a hybrid, being a bridge to be able to talk about, star beings, their perspective, and the human perspective as well. So learned a great deal about that. On the starship, on the walls, there were symbols, which were light language, star languages. And I used to stick my fingers in the light codes because they're living beings. And they would like come off the wall. And really, the walls are holographic. It's not solid like here on Earth. And they would dance with me, and we would dance, and they would move through my body and raise my frequencies. And they were teaching me about who they were on the ship just by literally moving through my bodies. It's bliss or heaven. Don't know another word. We don't have it in English, but that's what the experience was for me, being on the ship with these incredible beings. They understand who they are. They understand their oneness, and that we're all one. So there's no duality. And walking on the ship, it was more like floating. So I really wasn't walking. And one pretty profound experience we had, the 8 of us who were in the class were taken outside of the ship, and we got to experience being in like a bubble. It was a bubble of light, another dimension. And so there was nothing under us, nothing above us or anywhere. We were just hovering in space in this bubble, transparent. And so a number of the beings were teaching us about the star system, about quantum physics, and also about Earth. They were telling us how much they love Earth. We've all chosen to be on Earth to help raise the frequencies of Earth, along with many others. To just think about that is pretty incredible, to just be in the middle of space with all these incredible, gorgeous stars and planets. And the energy of it was just quiet, still. It just was this profound silence that I can't even describe. And it was that way on the ship too, because we all telepathically communicated. I loved it that it was so silent and quiet. And I also used to merge. There was a special room on the ship where my star parents and I, Amitha and Zazu, we would go into a certain room and drop our bodies, and our essences would just merge, and we would become one, which again was a very profound experience. Again, nothing like it. I mean, I just really don't have words for it. Again, it was like heaven. And we would also travel to different universes, and I would connect with star beings who I knew in the past. And some of them were animal-like, some were humanoid-like. So I met a mother from a past life that I had, and she was a mix of humanoid and feline, and she had 3 eyes. She was just beautiful. All these beings really, what I was really moved by is how much they love me, how much love they express. That it was just amazing.
This is also moving for me. I am already in tears with the homesickness, because I know inherently the ships. I know what you're speaking of. I have experienced it, and it's just this knowing in myself. I don't have the recall. I'm starting to do regressions, but I don't have a recall. It's just a knowing. And I'm wondering, could you talk a little bit about that conscious choice you made to be on this planet? Because to make the leap from that beautiful, unconditional love that doesn't exist here, can you talk about that choice a little more, please?
Oh my gosh. And, some days I say to myself, and what was I thinking? But I made a choice when I was in spirit, had a conversation with a council of beings, planning where I was going to go, what I was going to do. I heard the earth. I heard her voice. There was a part of me that felt really sad about Earth in regard to the energy that she was communicating to me, that she would like some assistance. In talking to the Council of 44, and they said, well, the choice isn't going to Earth. You can be male or female. I was like laughing because there are so many beings who have no gender at all and have some that are male and female. So there's many, many beings in the universe that have nothing to do with male or female. And so all I said was, I think, I said, is male and female it? What about other choices? And they said, yeah, that's kind of it. So I chose to be female. And obviously I chose the parents that I have. Of course, this was all before my mother was taken on the ship. But all that was planned. And I had talked to my star parents, the tall white zetas. It was like all arranged. When they were injecting me while I was in the room with the cocktail of the DNA, my spirit was watching all this happen. And we were all telepathically communicating. My star parents and me and my mom, my Earth mom.
So, in regards to that, with your spirit or larger, higher self watching, when you said yes to signing up, is there a way, either through the Akash or intuitive knowing, that you actually know what you're signing up for or what it means to be female? Like, were you downloaded with what this would likely be and you knew what you were getting into? Or was it just like, sure, I'll go?
Yeah, I know. I think my soul just kind of jumped and went, yeah, let's do this. Maybe I laugh and say sometimes maybe they talk to me about chocolate hot fudge sundaes and things like that. But overall, on a soul level, I made that choice. Did I understand all that it entailed? No. I don't think my soul understood the density here, or understood really what it would be like, the energies, the frequencies, because they're so much lower than other places and on a starship.
I don't think we read the fine prints for sure.
I agree. I totally agree.
Right. Otherwise, we probably might not have done it.
Right.
Right. And then I'm imagining, this might seem obvious, but part of the agreement to come down was knowing all of the support that you would have, knowing that they would be with you, knowing that you could access them, that they would help you with your gifts. Is that accurate?
Yes. And they really, my star being parents, I think on the ship, they told me numerous times, you have chosen to do a mission on Earth, that they really supported me with that and said, you made the choice. I mean, they said that in a loving way. And so they talked to me about that. When I was a little girl, they said to me, even though you're a little girl, your soul has chosen to be in the human body and to be on Earth. So they talked to me about that.
So did you have to go through forgetting, or did you always maintain the knowledge that you chose, and this connection with your family? Because so many have the amnesia of this place. How was that for you?
Well, it's been a journey. It's really taken a lot of my life getting all the memories back and fitting the pieces together. And so it did take me a while to remember because, yeah, they kind of blocked memories for a while. Most of my memories have come back to me spontaneously, which I'm grateful for, and a couple with hypnosis, but mainly spontaneously, which I'm grateful for. And so, because, yeah, this started they were watching over me when I was in the crib and talking to me. And I remember it clearly. It's clear. All of it came through in a very clear way for me and made sense for my life and how I felt like I never fit in. What am I doing here? This could be a really boring place and other things.
So they came in response to those questions as, how old were you roughly when the spontaneous memories started happening?
I had some when I was in my 20s, maybe a few earlier, actually, when I was younger. I did have some. And then things really started opening much more when I got in my 30s and just kept unfolding. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, it's just been wonderful to put the pieces together for my life and to understand that I chose this. But what's great is I can go back to the ship anytime I want to. I can go home to my original star family, Quabar, anytime I want to. So I'm fortunate and I'm able to travel with my consciousness anywhere at any time. And the truth is anyone can.
Can you talk about the transition into knowing yourself as a light language speaker, starting to share that with people, understanding how incredible a healing modality it is?
I started really speaking light language, star languages, when I was 3 on the ship. We could say that it kind of went underground for a while. Like on the ship, I would speak star language. Here on Earth, I'm speaking English because that's what you're taught to speak. Learning more about my experiences, getting more memories back, I came to understand all this more. And then I started speaking light language at 3. One of my first experiences speaking light language was when I was in college, and I was in with a group of a couple of people. I woke up the next morning and started speaking light language, and I couldn't stop. And my roommate was like, she was just like there hanging out and listening. She wasn't scared by it at all. It's hard to explain. It was like this huge pressure of all this energy just pouring out of me. And so that's when I started, in a really conscious way, started speaking light language. I mean, there were periods of time when I speak light language in my sleep. I still do that now. I wake up and I'm speaking light language. And so I came to understand how important light language is. And I really see it as being our next evolutionary step because it bypasses the mind ego. Light language is frequencies, it's sacred geometry, it's speaking light in the best way we can, having vocal cords. And so when we speak light language, it uplifts us, it brings joy, and the light language literally goes through our bodies. Like when I work with people, it goes through every cell of the body, all the bodies. The soul knows what's being said. The body knows. I think what's beautiful about it is the mind ego doesn't have to understand. No one needs to understand what's being said because they know what's being said on another level, on a soul level. So I feel like the light language is taking us to depths that we haven't been before. More people are speaking light language globally. It's awesome. It's wonderful. There's huge openings. And what I love about light language is it can dissolve old patterns, just release limiting thoughts, old identities. It can get us aligned with who we truly are, with our authentic selves. And, when we think about that, it's profound because it is light. And I've drawn hundreds of transmissions from the star beings. They're multidimensional. They're light language on paper. So when you sit with that and invite them to come off the page and talk to you, they do. And they can flow through the whole body. And I speak light language all the time, every day, every night. And
there's so much I want to jump in about. It's so brilliant how it bypasses the rational mind and all of our programming. That's part of what makes it so advanced, is it's working with our DNA. It's working on our soul beyond this physical realm. And it's so exciting. And my light language comes out the most when I'm in nature or when I dance. Actually, I dance. That's how I dance, is with light language. I don't understand it. I don't need to when I'm signing. Fine, I don't need to. And I know that amazing things are happening. And I also have no idea about the origins or the source. I just know it's very high frequency. Can you talk a little bit about your process? Do you know who's coming through? Do you know specific beings and specific languages? Can you actually translate the messages coming through? Can you talk a little bit about the bringing down of the language and the transmissions?
Well, I speak many star languages. And so when they come with the transmissions, they actually tell me what colors to use. Every line's intentional and they're talking to me while I'm doing this. I can sit and stare off into space and it's just being done. I kind of said earlier that all of our languages on Earth are from the stars. So a lot of people, when they listen to the languages, they'll say, that sounds familiar. I've just kind of, through just, I guess, knowing them and speaking them, I've come to know a number of the different star languages and recognize them. And after I draw them, sometimes I know immediately. They'll tell me what it's for. Other times, it might be a couple weeks later before they tell me what it's to be used for, because like I have all my transmissions at my site at a light language store, because I wanted to be specific with each one and what each one can be used for. And so I think that way it helps people to be able to know that transmission, to set an intention for it to work with them. For me, I actually feel and see the codes come off the page and flow through my body or dance with me, be around me. My focus isn't on interpreting, but I can, like when I work with people and do sessions, after I'm done, then they will share with me. But I'm getting it as I'm speaking the light language, even though I'm kind of not paying attention, because I'm playing singing bowls also. And so then they will, pass the message. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But I'm excited because, the people that I get to work with the light language tell me how profoundly it supports them, shifts them, clears things out. helps them to, I've had some people who have had healings, and we set our intention beforehand. I write all the intentions down and put it in my mother's singing bowl, and that's how I start. So I wasn't planning on doing this, but I just wanted to share some of the codes that come through so people might have an idea if they haven't seen them before. So this is from the Tall White Zeta. They told me to use this color of pen. So
wow, yeah.
This is also Tall White Zeta. So this is for peace and harmony.
No, that just gets my third eye. I can just feel this wave of penetration. Those are extraordinary.
So I have the wonderful privilege to receive light language codes from the star beings. And when I'm writing them onto paper, I use sometimes colored pencils or paints, whatever they share with me that they would like me to use. So from my perspective, the transmissions that come through, which are in my light language store at my site, artistic, they come through in very artistic ways, different colors, different kinds of symbols and that. And also a number of star beings came through and have drawn themselves through me. I call them the cosmic portraits, and that are also available to see. I really have enjoyed doing those. There's Nocturian Zeta that came through, many others as well. And also a being who with integration work, and she's just beautiful. She's from the moon. And so there are different kinds of art that you can see that they have actually come through with.
So when you talk about the tall white zetas, and you've talked about the Council of 8, and then at one point you mentioned a group of 44, and it's clear you work with so many in the other realms. I'm curious about who you work with specifically, or do you respond to the person you're working with and their guides? I'm sure it's a whole combination. But my overall vision here in this question is to transition a little bit into like the hybrid program, kind of transitioning into your relationship with the beings, and then how you started learning and connecting with the hybrid program.
I am connected to a lot of beings. I meet a lot of different beings from different star systems. Sometimes they come to me in the middle of the night. Some that I don't really consciously recognize them, they'll say, well, I knew you. We knew each other when. And so I had this beautiful book show up. This woman, star being, she was green, brought this book and she opened it. And it was just hundreds and hundreds of pages of star language. And she looked at me and she said, now I know you can remember this because, we were together and I was getting downloaded. She was downloading me, and I'm going I can't remember all those, but she was downloading me. And so Tall White Zeta Masters are my star parents. I'm very, very connected to Mantis. These I'm pretty much connecting with on a daily basis. The Mantis are so much fun. They make me laugh all the time. They're amazing, intelligent, masters at genetics, all kinds of things. So I learn a great deal from them. I've communicated with Venusians, celestials. I do a lot of work with angels, which I love. And Arcturians, Zetas. I mean, it's kind of whoever shows up, I'm having fun with.
That's so great. I'm hoping you'd be up for a transmission now to sort of, we've been in this language and this linear trying to interpret all of this, and I think it'd be great to have kind of a completion point with the nonlinear to help us integrate all of the information that's so profound. So are you up for that?
Oh, definitely. And I just wanted to say that each star race has their own hybridization kind of program. So people do have all kinds of different experiences with it. I think it's very beneficial to humankind as well as the star beings, that we're all learning and growing. Okay, let me see who wants to come through, and I'll just share, whatever comes through, one or two languages and that. Olete kia karaeta mahana karieta, ashanela kaya katarieta, ohomagaya koreta, unadeita kariata kariata, usuku talanindia, umari takarita hanadaye, oshuku utana, ukari tokuma. Utare taye makaya, umatei kikamata teya, ushuku ananatekia kakarieta, umataye nananotaya, ushuku kareta ela, umata ela utatekia karieta. So this is from the Lyran star beings. And basically what this really beautiful energy that they're bringing it through, I can feel it through my whole body, is that they're just sending love and blessings to anyone who might watch this, and just saying how much they love the earth and are supporting the earth, with many dolphin beings here and other beings as well. So that's the Lyrans.
Thank you so much, Jacquelin. I really feel so blessed and honored to have had some time with you and to experience it's an awakening. It's a deepening of more intelligence and cosmic awareness. So thank you for your time and everything that you do being here on this planet right now.
Thank you. You're very welcome. Thank you for the opportunity to chat with you this evening. It's been great fun.
Wonderful.
And thank you.